Now, let's start with a strange question. Does your thermostat have a soul? Can a machine mean something? Or are we just projecting stories onto circuits? Today, we dive into Daniel Dennett's intentional stance, where even simple devices start to look like they have beliefs. And then we let Quine in to ask whether any of that meaning was ever real in the first place. What you'll find here isn't smoke and mirrors. It's not magic, trend chasing, or algorithmic fluff. It's a slow-burning stream of insights, shaped by over a decade of academic research, peer-reviewed writing, and philosophical reflection. These arguments don't depend on hype, approval, or the mood of the internet. They stand on their own, quiet, deliberate, and time-hardened. If that sounds like something you've been looking for, feel free to subscribe. It helps this project grow, and it tells the algorithm that thoughtful content still matters.
This is the title for today. Does your thermostat have a soul? If Quine could answer Dennett's intentional stance. Hey everyone, welcome back to 7 Minutes of Philosophy of Mind, where we take deep philosophical puzzles and break them down for you in just 7 minutes. I'm Lucas, and today we're diving into a hot topic, literally and metaphorically. Does your thermostat think? Segment 1, Daniel Dennett and the Intentional Stance. Daniel Dennett, one of the big names in philosophy of mind, hath this concept called the intentional stance. It's a strategy for predicting behavior by treating an entity as if it has beliefs, desires, and rationality. It's like saying the thermostat believes the room is too cold, so it desires to turn on the heat. You know, kind of like giving it a little mind of its own. Dennett says that if the intentional stance works, if it predicts behavior accurately, then the entity, in a sense, is a true believer. Now I know what you're thinking. Lucas, I barely trust my thermostat to keep my house at a stable 22 degrees, and now you're telling me it might have opinions about it. Relax. I promise your thermostat isn't secretly plotting to overthrow your smart home system because it's tired of being just the temperature guy. But this is philosophy, and we like to ask weird questions. Think about it. Your thermostat senses changes in temperature and adjusts itself accordingly. It's basically saying, oh no, it's getting cold. Better warm things up, like a cozy little philosopher with a single, unwavering conviction, maintain 22 degrees at all costs. You might think, well, that's just a machine doing machine things. But according to Daniel Dennett, we might just be witnessing the first inklings of a mind. Dennett calls it the intentional stance, treating systems as if they have beliefs and desires to predict their behavior. You don't need to crack open a thermostat and find a tiny philosopher in there sipping coffee and contemplating life. You just assume it wants to maintain the temperature and voila, it behaves as expected. It's like attributing deep existential angst to your coffee maker when it refuses to brew at 7 a.m. Clearly, it's protesting the futility of routine. Now hold on a second. Quine might just barge into this cozy philosophy party and say, guys, your thermostat doesn't care about temperature. It doesn't care about anything. You're projecting your human ways of thinking onto it, and that's kind of adorable and slightly sad. It's like assuming your vacuum cleaner feels betrayed when you bring home a Roomba. So does your thermostat think? Or are we just wildly anthropomorphizing because we're lonely and desperate to find some spark of camaraderie in our household appliances? Spoiler alert, this debate isn't just about thermostats. It's about whether attributing beliefs and desires to systems actually tells us anything meaningful about cognition. Stick around because we're about to get philosophical and probably make your thermostat feel more important than it has any right to be. Let's see how Dennett's intentional stance holds up when Quine's Indeterminacy comes knocking. And hey, if your thermostat starts sending passive-aggressive cold snaps mid-episode, don't blame me. I just gave ideas. Segment 2, enter Quine, patterns, and indeterminacy. Now let's throw a philosophical wrench into the mix, good old Willard Van Orman Quine. Quine's got this wild idea called the indeterminacy of translation. He says that patterns can supervene without having anything in common at the physical level. In other words, the same pattern of behavior could be explained by completely different internal states. Imagine two beings behaving identically, one driven by actual beliefs and the other by some weird, non-intentional mechanism. According to Quine, the patterns are there, but they don't guarantee any shared internal structure. This challenges Dennett because it means that just because the intentional stance works, it doesn't prove that the system really has beliefs or desires. Think of it like this. You can interpret the thermostat as believing it's cold, but you can also explain its behavior without invoking beliefs at all. The pattern is just a convenient fiction. Quine would say that seeing patterns doesn't mean there's real intentionality behind them. Quine actually threw this idea out there to illustrate something even wilder. When two people seem to understand each other, they're not necessarily processing things the same way. They might just have translation algorithms that conveniently spit out matching phrases, like two chatbots that sound like they're in sync, but one's pulling from Shakespeare and the other from reality TV quotes. Now picture this, you're at a bustling market trying to bargain over a dusty antique, and you say something poetic like, "Oh angel, can you cut me a deal?" The seller nods, impressed, and you get your discount. Smooth, right? Except in his culture, the word angel has a weird folklore twist where it actually means demon after midnight. So he's thinking, why is this guy invoking demonic bargains over a vase? It's not just that your bargaining game is unintentionally summoning eldritch spirits. It's that, at a deeper cultural level, your words are tapping into an entirely different semantic network. To Quine, that's the problem with meaning. Even when people think they're on the same wavelength, they could be operating within completely distinct holistic systems. You might both nod and smile, but your nod is saying, "Nice deal," and his is saying, "Hope you're not cursed now." Segment 3. Conclusion. So when Dennett says that attributing beliefs and desires to a system helps us predict behavior, Quine would be like, sure, but that's just a convenient fiction. You're mapping your own structure onto something else, and there's no guarantee the inner workings match your expectations. It's like setting your thermostat to angelic warmth and waking up at midnight to an ice-cold room because, surprise, it's decided to channel its inner demonic chill mode. Apparently, your thermostat has joined a cult and now worships the frost gods. You're left shivering, wondering if it's sending you a message about the impermanence of comfort or just straight up gaslighting you. Turns out your thermostat and your interpretation of it aren't even speaking the same metaphysical dialect, let alone the same language.